Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to be doing several propagations, and this is just a couple pictures of the plants I'm going to be repotting and chopping. I've got my Monstera Deliciosa. I've also got a Thai Con in the back. That's my Periso Verde. It's giant. As you can see, I've got a mirror holding part of it up. It's been on a growing shelf, so it's been being supported by the shelf. And I just repotted this, and it's already at the bottom. The roots are. There is some algae growing, but that's completely fine. But yeah, this has already reached the bottom in like 2 weeks, so I'm going to be repotting this as well. I'm also propagating it. There you can see aerial roots already forming. It's going to be very vital once I chop it. That's where, oh, that's a node. That's where new growth points are going to be coming out. And all that gross stuff shaking is algae. It's completely fine. You could rinse it, rinse the water, change the water, all that. There's about 2 Monstera in here. Got a new leaf coming out as well. Those brown spots are from it getting too close to my grow light. Almost all of the ones that are just in water have algae growing. And I'm changing these from being in water to being in moss with Leca. I've had a lot of success with that growing method, and hopefully it's gonna lessen the amount of algae that is being produced right now. And this is my Thai Con. It's really trying to grow out the pot. The roots are definitely needs to upgrade. I'm gonna be starting with this Monstera. And again, this is the moss I like using, orchid grade, premium grade orchid moss. I usually get that at my local Lowe's. And then I'm going to be using clay pebbles, Leca. When you get Leca, make sure it's lightweight expanded clay. I've accidentally bought clay marbles, and that is definitely not the same thing. It will have a bad effect on your plants if you're not careful. So I believe I have 4 to 5 of the Monstera Deliciosa that I'm going to be putting in one pot.
Everything feels right. I find the magic soft and free. In these sweet moments, just being me.
And here I'm just filling it up about 2/3 full, or 1/3 full of the clay pebbles. You don't want it being too much, because this is the water reservoir. And I usually fill the reservoir halfway filled. Once you get it leveled out, then you can go in with your orchid moss. Make sure that you're breaking it up and make sure it's light and airy. You don't want to compact this down at all. I've been growing my Monstera in water because when I originally got mine, it was suffering root rot, and it was the only way I could save it was by putting it in water. And it's grown some. I've taken a couple propagations of it. Most of the ones that are in singles I've doubled by cutting them. And to prevent it from rotting again, I don't want to put it in soil, so it's used to water. So I'm going to put it in this no drainage method and hopefully have good results.
With every breath that calm sinks in, this is where my joy begins. I find the magic in me every day. In the sweetest sips, the time slips away. Little things that bring a smile to me, like the sugar.
So before I put this in there, I'm gonna separate the roots. And yeah, there's 3 plants in here. And it's all came from one plant. You can see the roots are healthy. the green color is just from algae. It's completely fine. And I'm just trying to figure out the orientation I want these in. I'm gonna have about 5 plants in one pot now, and I want them to be able to grow without bothering each other.
Sugar falls in, I stir it slow, let the calm begin. In these quiet hours, I feel at ease, like simple magic.
Anytime you're separating or messing with the roots, you want to take your time and be gentle so as not to damage them. And here I'm just trying to get some of the algae off, and it's not really working, but it's fine. And once you get this situated how you want, just go back in and fill up any gaps with your moss. But again, you don't want to press it down. You just want to make sure that the roots are covered and that there's some air pockets. This is a close-up. There's a root already poking out, but it'll be fine.
I find the magic in me every day. In the sweetest sips as time slips away. Little things that bring a smile to me, like the sugar swirling in my coffee. No rush, no race, just the afternoon light. In the simple joy, everything feels right. I find the magic soft and free. In these sweet moments, just being me. A quiet laugh, the softest breeze. The world's at peace in moments like these. I sip my coffee, feel the warmth inside, letting the day just gently glide. The sun dips low, the shadows play.
If you all have a preference for longer videos or multiple short videos, let me know in the comments below. This video was originally over an hour long, and so I've done a lot of chopping, and I've broke it up into 3 different parts that I'm going to be releasing. But if you'd rather see this all as one video, just let me know. It's completely fine. And here you can kind of see the air pockets I'm talking about. Most of it is covered, but I'm gonna make sure there's a tiny little hole or two where air can form. Or I also apologize, I'm getting over a cold, so if I'm sniffling, it's because I'm blowing my nose. And here you can see I am pushing the moss down, but I'm also pulling it back up. So I'm trying to get it to reach where the roots are at the bottom, but also keep it airy by pulling it back up. And now I'm just shaking it to make sure the moss is holding everything in place. You can see some of the air pockets again. You don't want the moss to go too far up, because that's how most of the rotting starts, I believe, around the base, if not in the roots. So here you can see most of the moss is covering the roots. There's just a few here or there that are green with white tips that you can see. And hopefully once I get the updates edited, you can see the difference. I'll try to have it side by side. But yeah, you can see a little bit of the roots. You can't see everything. And I'm gonna leave that tiny green root exposed. It'll become an aerial root. And now that I got everything how I wanted, I'm gonna add water about 2/3 the way up. Because again, with this, I don't want it to rot, so I'm not gonna add as much water. This is the Thai Con. It does have a yellowing leaf, which for these I like to remove them, but I only wait until the leaf is ready to go. So I think I tried to remove it, but the stem is still pretty firm, so I didn't want to pull it off because it's still getting energy from that leaf. And here I'm just filling the stem, because sometimes you can see or feel a ridge, and that means there's a new leaf coming in. And I'm just going to do the same thing, go in with my clay pebbles, fill it 1/3 of the way up, and then add a layer of moss and make sure that the roots have enough space. I don't want the base of the plant to be hanging out of the pot, plus I don't want it too far down.
The world keeps turning, but I stand still, caught in the magic, the quiet thrill. In these sweet moments, I find my place in the warmth of the sun, with a smile on my face. Morning's done, the day is one. Sun again set and everything's fine. A gentle breeze, the city's slow. I take a seat, let the moment flow. A cup of coffee, sugar falls in. I stir it slow, let the calm begin. In these quiet hours, I feel at ease, like simple magic in moments like these. I find the magic in the everyday, in the sweetest sips as time slips away.
Another reason that I don't compress the moss is because the roots are pretty long on this, and it'll compress it naturally once I set the roots on top of the moss is already down there. And then every time I water it, the moss will keep compressing. So it's important that you add air pockets, otherwise it's definitely gonna end up rotting.
A cup of coffee, sugar falls in. I stir it slow, let the calm begin. In these quiet hours, I feel at ease, like simple magic in moments like these. I find the magic in the everyday, in the sweetest sips as time slips away. Little things that bring us
And here you can see I'm pushing the moss down gently. There's still air pockets at the base. And then I'm kind of taking my fingers and pulling it up right there. Pushing it down and then pulling it back up to fluff it out. And then just topping it gently. You want to make sure that most of the roots are covered though.
the quiet life, the softest breeze, the world's at peace in moments like these. I sip my coffee, feel the warmth inside.
And if you change your water regularly and it's not green, I would recommend using that same water to hydrate the moss. I feel like it's more beneficial for the plants because it's already used to that water, and it makes the transition a bit easier. However, you can use fresh water, you can use water with fertilizer, or here I'm using the exact same water it just came out of because I recently changed this water. And it's not as filled as I would like it to be, so I'm gonna top it off with fresh water. But here, this is a technique I do for my plants once they're, or as they're establishing. Once the water starts to run out or the moss dries, but there's still a lot of water in the reservoir, I'll take the plant and tip it on the sides, being careful not to spill any water. I do this to rehydrate the moss and try to get it used to soaking up the water that's already there without constantly adding water on top. Because you don't want the water line to touch the moss, otherwise that's going to lead to rotting. You want the water line to always be beneath the moss in the leca. But if you keep adding water to the moss, more and more water, and there's still water at the bottom, it's going to cause issues. And this is my Sebastatum Philodendron. And I'm going to be propagating this as well as repotting it because the roots are going crazy. So I'm taking scissors and isopropyl alcohol and I'm sterilizing my scissors. You can use a flame, you can just wash it with soap and water, but I like to use isopropyl. You can just put it on a paper towel. And then you want to make sure to cut between nodes. You don't want to damage a node because that's where the new growth points are going to come out of. And here I'm just pulling back this sheath, taking it off so I can see what's going on. And that's just a protective covering. So here you can see the new leaf coming out, the second to newest leaf, and then the roots. That's gonna be vital to the cutting. And here, hopefully you can see that tiny little bump. That's where the new growth point's gonna come out. I'm gonna give you kind of a spoiler. I had 2 growth points activate after cutting this. So I've got 2 new leaves forming, then eventually they'll start branching off, hopefully. So that's the growth point right there by my fingertip. And I'm not gonna cut above that point. So here we go. You want to do this as quick as possible. I've seen people use razor blades, which honestly I think I'd recommend, but I'm scared I'm gonna cut myself, so I just use scissors to get it. You can get it as clean as you can. It's okay if it's a little messed up. So right now you can see the tip is white. Just made this cut. It is dripping a little, which is completely fine. So this is a top cutting. I'm not gonna do any more cuttings on this. I wish I had, but this is fine. So there's the new glass I'm gonna be using. I got these pretty cheap at a dollar store. They're milkshake glasses. And if you ever get anything tapered, make sure it tapers up and out. You don't want it to taper down, because you're gonna have issues pulling the roots out eventually. And I'm just adding a little bit of moss. I don't want too much because I don't want the stem to rot while the roots are forming. But you do want it to be deep enough that the new cutting doesn't just fall out or flop around. You want it to be snug, that way it feels secure and it can form roots faster. And it helps with the humidity. Like now you can see it keeps falling, and I'm just trying to tuck the moss to keep it from falling. Just enough. I don't want to add too much. And once you get it stable enough, add your water, let it soak up. And with these, I don't recommend adding water all the way to the top, letting it soak and then draining it. I do about 2/3 full of water, if that. Sometimes I just do enough water to where it barely touches the moss, and then it'll soak it up eventually, slowly. It also helps the roots grow down when you have water at the bottom, but you don't want the water to touch the moss regularly, just when you're establishing it. So this top cutting is done, and the top cuttings typically grow faster than the rest, but it also depends on how much roots the plant has access to. So this is the close-up of the cutting, or what's left of the cutting. It's already turned yellow. And I've noticed with some philodendron, especially the ones with red, they turn red, the cuttings do. It's a way of protecting the plant. They also form sap. I've got about 3 different ones that have these water droplet saps that help protect the plant. It's very sticky though. And here I'm gently trying to get the roots out, which is another reason why I want to repot this, because the roots are going crazy, but also it's tapered down here, so the roots they could have broke. But I took it out gently, and I'm going to give it a lot more space so that this can grow, has better potential to make bigger leaves. I'm trying to transition away from using mason jars. I like to use them because I recycle, and so it's just an easy way for me to use my glass products. However, with my plants, I really don't like to use them because of the way the lip tapers. I'm trying to get more plastic or glass products that they're straight or they taper up. I'm not gonna be, I am gonna be using this one, but just for the cutting. Once it starts forming roots, I'm gonna take it out and put it in something more compatible with the grow type.
Just the afternoon light in the sun.
Okay, so I know this looks a mess. I didn't have a bigger glass container, so I did put this back into its original pot with more moss underneath, because it originally was kind of low down. The base wasn't at the top. It is now. This is temporary. I ended up repotting it later that week, which I don't recommend. You don't want to be shocking your plants. However, this plant is pretty robust. It grows really fast. Again, the roots reached the bottom of the container in 1 week, and then it started wrapping around it the following week. So I know this plant's going to be okay. However, I don't recommend doing what I'm doing right now. And hopefully, I believe I recorded me updating this, so you can see I put it in a much larger pot. So that's the end for part 1. Stay tuned, because I have several more to chop and prop. Thanks for watching.
In these sweet moments, I find my